Hello and welcome to the International Long Drive Challenge from Montego Bay, Jamaica. We're at the historic Cinnamon Hill Golf Course where Jamaica takes on International Quantum Team 2. And now to our host, John Bartlett, and our co-host, Rick Benoit.
From Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, it's the International Long Drive Challenge as Team Quantum takes on Jamaica. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm John Bartlett alongside Rick Benoit. Rick, we are in for some great long drive golf here today. The hometown Jamaican team taking on the International Quantum team, and this is a little unique when we have the Quantum team in an event.
You know, John, anytime you have hometown Jamaican in an event, it's a special thing, seeing as how we're here in Montego Bay, Jamaica. But we've got the International Quantum team, which is a unique team in itself in that it's made up of South African members, and we were lucky enough to have 2 Canadian members on board, and we were more than happy and honored to compete with the South Africans, who are phenomenal hitters.
The international invitees in this event will see the 2 teams go head-to-head with 3 male open hitters on each side, a senior men's competitor and a ladies competitor. The top scores added up, and we'll have our winner here today showcasing not only the sport, but the international talent we have.
That's right, John, and the international talent is well in depth here in this event, and you'll see some long drives.
All right, here we go with Jamaica against the International Quantum team. Well, here's a look at our rules and regulations for the event today. Each hitter is going to have 3 minutes to hit their 6 balls. We'll have 2 hitters in the tee box at the same time. The ball must come to rest inside the grid to count, and measurements are taken from the furthest point of the ball. The grid is 420 yards long by 45 yards wide. The clubs cannot exceed 50 inches in length, and all clubs must conform to USGA rules. And there's a look at the grid from the tee box. The view the competitors will see as they'll aim for their target, as Jamaica and the Quantum International Team 2 have got some big hitters, and we'll see it in this event as we kick off round 1 as Marnus Foray will take on Garfield Letman. But Rick, some weather changes here. We've seen a lot of long drive balls on some dry grid, but we've had a little rain recently, so this will soften the grid up.
Absolutely, blue skies out there right now, but again, we had a little bit of rainfall, so it's softened things up a little bit.
And we'll see how that plays into effect on the roll and bounce of the balls on this game. But Garfield Letman will be the first hitter in this competition, teeing it off for Team Jamaica. And his first drive is out of bounds, so he steps up for drive number 2.
And Garfield's no stranger to this sport. He's been around for a few years and is an experienced law baller now, and he knows he's got to get one on the grid.
Well, that's a good shot right there, as that one is going to find its way to the grid. And he'll watch it as it clears the 300-yard marker easily, rolls its way just past the 330 at 333 yards.
Not a great opening, but an opening nonetheless. He's posted a score, and now he can move forward with that. He can really go after the ball now.
Marnus Foray up now, and he also has not hit the grid in his first shot. Drive number 2.
Again, the nerves playing on these hitters, these cameras, the crowd, the whole grid, and having to hit that golf ball within the lines. It's hard to do.
Well, he's got a pretty good shot there, and that one will clear the 360-yard marker and makes it to 367 yards. So both competitors get on the board with their second drives.
And John, with the rain that we've had, the humidity is intensified here. So the ball's not getting as much carry, and you'll see it getting knocked down a lot sooner. So they're not flying the golf balls as far.
Drive number 3 now for Garfield Letman. Takes his time to steady himself here. A lot of visualization as well from these hitters as they like to look down that grid and imagine the ball landing in it.
And again, John, the whole premise of visualization and mindset going into the tee box, if you can visualize it and you can relax your mind and you can focus on the task at hand, you can get it done.
330 yards for Garfield Letman on the 3rd drive. Now Marnus Foray with his 3rd drive.
And Mornay certainly can get it done. He's got a great shoulder turn, and boy, can he swing a golf club.
He almost jumps off the ground there a little bit as he swings right through it, and he hammers the ball. That one will clear the 390-yard marker at 393 yards.
And you can see the bounce and roll. We're still getting a little bit of roll on that grid. Not as much as earlier in the day, but again, the big difference is the ball flight. The humidity's knocking that ball down.
Drive number 4 out of bounds for Garfield Letman. Here is drive number 5, and that one will sail its way up into the grid. Good little roll, clearing the 300 marker easily, and that one is going to stop just shy of the 350 at 349 yards.
And that ball there got a lot of roll, John. About 30 yards worth of roll for for him there. But again, Garfield needs to step it up.
Marnus now up for his 5th drive.
Come on, got
And he's hoping that one is going to cut its way back into the grid. You can hear him trying to egg it on, but it's not going to make it as it's out of bounds.
Great swing from him. Good shoulder turn. You know, he's got that 393 posted, but he's just trying to turn the ball over a little bit too much.
6th and final drive now for Garfield Lettman as he's trying to top that 393 marker. Oh, and he spun himself right around on that shot.
Trying to put a little gusto into that ball, and look what's happened. Comes up well short of anything he's had in the tee box before.
It'll stop at 264 yards, so 349 his best drive. And now it is Marnus Fourier that'll try to top the 393 marker.
Concentration in the tee box is key. Good setup, great shoulder turn, and he falls through the golf ball. Unfortunately, pushed it off.
But his 3rd drive is a good one at 393 yards for Marnus Fourier as he'll take the first competition here between Jamaica and the International Quantum Team 2.
Great sportsmanship. You can see his shoulder turn, keeps that lower end still and follows through. Great turn.
Here's Garfield Lettman on techniques to a good swing.
Well, I try to have a loose left hand when I'm gripping the club and a strong right, because you really want that power from your right hand. I try to draw it in the grid all the time so it runs longer. Well, one of the nicest things here is when you hit it in the grid for your first time. You got 6 balls, you got to make sure you place one. So that's one of the nicest things. The toughest thing is getting used to the cameras, you know, but you got to out there and just have some fun.
Well, we'll move on to round 2 as the ladies step up to the tee, and it is Lizelle Diffenthal taking on Sally Roper.
And 2 golfers here, one from South Africa, one from Jamaica. Long time in golf, but new to the sport of long drive. And again, I can't stress enough the nerves that go along with getting in that tee box. It's so important for these competitors to get a ball into the grid on their first 3.
Lizelle will be the first hitter here for the International Quantum Team 2 as she'll line up. She has hit over 300 yards consistently already in the International Long Drive Challenge.
And they got to be thinking too, you know, put a score up on the board and give my opponent something to chase. That's what they're looking for here.
Here's Lizelle's first shot. And that one is going to make its way outside of the grid, so she's out of bounds.
Pulled that shot a little bit off of her left side. Her hands are just moving a little too quick.
So Sally Roper now will step up to the tee box.
And we've seen Sally before, and you can see a little bit uncomfortable in that tee box. I think it has a lot to do with the cameras and the crowd. Long-time golfer, but again, you get in that tee box, it's a little different game.
And that one gets off the tee, but it's not going to make its way into the grid as it ends up out of bounds. And you're right, that is a very big difference from just even teeing off when you're out on the golf course with a couple friends around you maybe ribbing you. It's a much different pressure here in this stadium atmosphere.
Absolutely, and you've got the team competition here whereby you know, you're trying to outdo your opponent, but it's so important to post a number for your team.
Well, Lizelle has not posted one yet after 4 drives. All of them end up out of bounds. Sally Roper now with a chance here with her 4th shot to try and get a score up on the board and put one in the grid.
And she's got determination in her face, John. You know, you can see how intense she is. She's trying to relax, but again, you can see the nerves just getting to her a little bit here.
Takes a little bit off that swing, but it looks like it'll work. She'll at least get one in the grid.
And that's a good golf swing for her, and she's posted a number now. So you know what? She's got her team on the board. She's done her job.
And that one will roll past the 240 marker at 245 yards. So there is a number up on the board now for Sally Roper as we go ahead to the 6th and final drive for Lizelle, who is still not put a ball in the grid.
Not a bad ball for Sally, but Liesl can easily beat that if she catches one.
But she doesn't. She catches it the wrong way, and it sails well wide, so it's out of bounds. And that means she'll put a 0 on the board, and Sally Roper now with a little pressure off here. All she has to do is just try and top that 245 marker.
She's got a little bit of bounce in her step now, John, and she's feeling pretty good about herself, seeing as how her opponent went 0 for 6. She knows it's a wide open grid for her.
But she knocks that one down, and that will find its way out of bounds. So Sally Roper's score of 245, the only one that comes up between the two ladies.
And again, can't stress enough how important it is to post a score for your team. We've got an 0 for 6 in there, and that really hurts that team score. Here you see Sally, she sets up, good golf swing. It really is truly a good golf swing, not a long drive swing.
Here's Robert Ames, the Director of Operations for Cinnamon Hill Golf Course, on the history of the course.
Cinnamon Hill's got so much history here that when you play the golf course, not only is it a golf experience, it's a historical tour also. We've got the Rose Hall Great House in the background. Then you've got Johnny Cash's house, where he wintered for 30 years and did all of his writing and his recouping from the tour. We've got the waterfall on hole number 15. That's where we filmed James Bond's movie Live and Let Die. Then you got the aqueduct on holes number 17 and 18, and right behind me here on number 7 fairway. It's just so much history that lends from the old sugar plantation, and now the designers did a great job of combining history with golf course, so it's a complete experience.
Gorgeous scenery indeed here at Cinnamon Hill Golf Course, and after 2 rounds, it is Team Jamaica that is out front by about 200 yards. Stay tuned, more of the big hitters to come as Jamaica takes on the International Quantum Team 2 at the International Long Drive Challenge.
This portion of the program brought to you by LONG.DRIVE Creations, original inspired art.
Welcome back to Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, as International Quantum Team 2 squares off with Team Jamaica. And we'll head into round 3 now, where we will see Lumar Foray take on Michael Rowe with a couple of big hitters here, Rick.
And you can see by the scoreboard, John, how important it is for you to post a score for your team. We've got a difference of 200 yards separating these two teams. South Africa, clearly the longer team of the two. From what we've seen thus far, but Team Jamaica's ahead, and they're ahead because they're posting a score.
And both of these competitors have hit some long balls before, but this is where that pressure also comes into the tee box, where you've got to bring those nerves, settle them down, and worry about your swing.
And Michael Rowe, again, he's a new competitor to the sport, so he's got that, rookie jitters, if you will, going into the tee box against a more seasoned veteran of long drive, and that makes the world of difference.
It'll be Lumar Foray that will hit first. He lines up for drive number 1. And he's trying to talk that one back into the grid, but I don't think he's got enough talking there, as that one's going to land out of bounds.
And from the perspective of swinging 100% on your first 3 balls, it's better to swing at 85% and get that first ball on the grid and post a number for your team.
So now Michael Rowe will step up with his first drive. Let's see if he can take the pressure off by putting one in the grid.
He's just trying to relax and set up here, good golf swing, good setup, good shoulder turn, and right through the ball.
And that's a good smooth swing, and he'll put a score on the board with his first drive as that one clears the 340-yard marker, rolling on past the 350, and that one will come to rest for Michael Rowe at 351 yards.
Great swing for him, great opening ball, 351. He's got to be happy with himself. He knows he's got 5 more that he can let loose on now.
Lumar Foray now up for his second drive, looking to hit the grid. And he unloads a big hit. And that is where you see the strength and power that Foray possesses as he hammers this one down the grid. It's going to clear the 390 and all the way past the 400 to 404 yards.
An exceptional drive, 405, 404, great numbers on the board, and that just goes to show you accuracy, power, and pressure, the 3 components of long drive.
Michael Rowe now trying to top that 400 marker himself. but this one will bounce down along and just squeak past the 360 at 361 yards.
Again, you know, for Michael Rowe, that's a 361. That's 10 yards further than his first. That's 2 for 2 for him. He's got to feel confident about his swing at this point in time.
On to the 5th drive for Lumar now. Trying to top that 404 marker. And he's got another good drive here. Hitting some consistent balls here today is Lumar Foray. And that one is going to get itself deep into the grid, past the 380, and it'll roll by the 390 and up to 393 yards.
Another great ball for Lumar, you know, consistent hitting. 404, a 380, a 393. He's in his zone now. He really needs to let loose on his next ball.
Michael Rowe trying to unload on his 5th drive here, but this one is going to sail its way out. He's trying to swing it over the club, but it will land out of bounds.
Yeah, he pushed that one a little bit. Michael was hoping that ball would draw back into the grid, which would give him optimal roll on a draw.
Lumar now up with his 6th and final drive. Can he top that 404 marker that he's already hit? Well, no, he won't. This one will go out of bounds, and he knew it right off the club.
And again, you know, that accuracy, power, and pressure, they all have to work in conjunction with each other, and Lumar there just tried to hit it a little bit too hard.
Michael Rowe now with his 6th and final drive for Jamaica.
Setting up again, he's visualizing, he's looking downrange. You can see the intensity in his face and a good swing.
And that one is going to make its way into the grid. It won't be as far as Lumar's shot, but still, nonetheless, pretty good drive, bouncing past the 350, and this one will come to rest at 359 yards.
And again, that ball got quite a bit of roll out of it.
Lumar Foray's drive of 404 yards will take it in this head-to-head competition.
And you can see the stability, great shoulder turn. He follows right through the ball.
And Michael Rowe talks about being a rookie in this experience.
Well, walking up to the tee, I tell you, it's a nerve-wracking one, but, you know, it's my first experience, so I just have to just go out there and do my best and, you know, and represent my country.
Well, after 3 rounds, with Team Jamaica and Team Quantum 2, it is Jamaica that is out front, and they look to continue their strength as we continue with more big hitters to come when we return to Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica.
This portion of the program brought to you by Starks Golf Course. Great family golfing.
Welcome back to the International Long Drive Challenge from Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, as it is Jamaica taking on the International Quantum Team 2. And up next, it is Bill Stark squaring off with Jeremy Cooper.
You know, John, we've got a situation here where Lizo went 0 for 6, and that really hurt Team South Africa and Quantum. And Team Jamaica here is capitalizing on that. Let's see if they can hold on to that lead here against Bill Stark.
Well, Jeremy Cooper, of course, getting some of the local support here, and then Bill Stark being the Canadian member of the International Quantum Team.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a situation where, you know, Bill Stark, being from Canada, was asked by the captain of South Africa Team Quantum, Gerhard Coetzee, to participate on the team, and he graciously accepted. So let's see what he can do with the tee box for his team.
Well, Team International Quantum needing a little help here after that 0 on the board, and see if they can get back in it, and Bill Stark will lead it off with the first drive.
A veteran of the sport, you know, no doubt that Bill's got the talent, and he can really bring it to the tee box when he needs to.
And his first drive is up in the air, but it is going to sail its way out of bounds.
Not a bad start swing for him. He's just getting loose in the tee box. You know, Billy's, like I said, no stranger to the tee box, and he can really bring it when he needs to.
Now here's Jeremy Cooper with his first drive of the day. And that one will make its way out of bounds as well.
For Jeremy, you know, the nerves in Jeremy, he's new to the sport, and he's going up against a veteran here, and Bill can really bring it.
Here's Bill Stark with his third drive, and he likes it, as you can hear, as it's going to be his first ball that will land in the grid. And this one's stopping just short of the 340 marker at 339 yards.
Not a bad ball for Bill, but you know, he can do a lot better than that, and he knows it, so that's why the laughter there.
Third drive for Jeremy Cooper. He's going to park one in the grid himself on this shot, and it will land in, clearing the 300 marker and rolling its way up past the 320, and just gets over the 330 marker at 333 yards.
Wow, a lot of roll on that ball for Jeremy there. You know, it snuck up on Bill's ball, but still not long enough. He's got a lot of work to do to beat Bill.
Fourth drive for Bill Stark here, and that one is going to sail its way outside of the grid, and it's out of bounds.
Bill's trying to push a little bit too hard and came through a little bit late on that ball.
Now Jeremy Cooper with his fourth drive. And that one is going to make its way to the grid, but it's going to be a little short.
And you can see there as well, Jeremy's trying to step it up too in his swing. It's not his traditional type of golf swing, and he tries to step it up just a little bit, but didn't work out for him.
285 yards for Jeremy Cooper on drive number 4. Both competitors knocked drive 5 out of bounds, so here we go, sixth and final drive for Bill Stark, and he gets a good piece of that one.
Yeah, Bill's liking that one. You know, he's staring that one down the grid. Let's see if it stays in for him here.
And it does. It kicks back in towards the middle, and it will roll its way to 370 yards.
Much better for Bill. You know, he's got to be happy with that score. Again, with the changing weather and the winds and the rain we had earlier, that's a good post.
Jeremy Cooper now in his final drive, and he tries to put a line into it, but this one will make its way out of bounds as Bill Stark's drive of 370 is tops.
Again, you know, Jeremy tried his best to keep up with Bill, but Bill's a veteran, and he can really swing a club. Let's see it in the replay here with his good shoulder turn, and he falls all the way through the ball.
Well, after 4 rounds, it is Team Quantum 2 that is trailing Team Jamaica, but they have closed the gap to about 120 yards. Stay tuned. Still to come, Rick Benoit steps up against Delroy McDonald in the International Long Drive Challenge.
This portion of the program brought to you by Joe Sutherland Rentals for all your television production needs.
Welcome back to Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, as Team Jamaica takes on International Quantum Team 2. And with a gap of just over 100 yards, it is now the final round as Rick Benoit takes on Delroy McDonald.
Again, you know, stepping in for Team Quantum was an honor for me as well as Billy. And going up against Delroy McDonald, I know he can bring it to the tee box and hit a good ball when he needs to. So let's see what happens.
And the pressure always on when you're the final hitter as well, because you know what that score is going in, and it's the two of you that control what the outcome might be.
True enough, John. You know, we've got a situation where it's just over 100 yards, and anything can happen in 6 balls. And we've seen it before where a competitor's gone 0 for 6, and that can make a world of difference here.
Well, Delroy McDonald hit his first one out of bounds, and he steps up for number 2, and that one also makes its way out of bounds.
Again, he's having a hard time finding the grid. You know, new hitter, new competitor, and he's just a little bit nervous in that tee box.
So now Rick Benoit up with his second drive. First one was 285, but it's a good piece of this one, and this one's going to make its way well out into the grid.
Yeah, that first one I caught off the toe of the club and wasn't very good at all, but this one was a little bit better.
And it clears the 350-yard marker and stops at 358.
Not bad, but still I can do a lot better than that, and I know I've got to bring it a lot harder and a lot longer than that if I'm going to beat Delroy in this set.
Third drive now for Delroy McDonald. He lines himself up, and that one's going to land in the grid, so at least he'll get a score here. And a pretty good shot as it makes its way up past the 340 marker, rolling on into the grid, and that one's going to come to a stop at 350 yards.
And John, now I know I've got my work cut out for me here. I got 120 yards to make up for my team, and there's only 20 yards separating the two of us. So I got to hit a long ball here, John.
Drive number 3. And that one is not going to make it into the grid.
Again, you know, it's that stress and pressure and accuracy, power, and pressure. That's what makes a good long drive swing. And we really need to focus and visualize on our swing and when we're hitting the ball, and I just didn't have it there.
Well, Delroy McDonald now getting set for drive number 4, trying to top his previous mark of 350. And he's got a good piece of that one as it's looking good heading down to the grid.
Delroy and the crowd like that one, John. Let's see where that ends up.
And it makes its way down past the 340, and it will just clear the 350 and skirts on out to 353 yards.
Again, not a bad drive for Delroy, new to the sport. 353 is not a bad drive, but I know I've got that in my bag.
Well, now getting set for drive number 4 and trying to close that gap on the Jamaican team here. And that one is not going to make its way into the grid either. It's out of bounds.
Yeah, you can see by my facial expression there, John, I wasn't too happy with that swing at all. But again, I pulled it, trying to overcompensate for my last one that I pushed out to the right side.
6th and final drive for Delroy McDonald now. And he's pretty consistent in this game, as that one looks pretty similar down the grid again.
Yeah, he's got a great consistent swing. He's in his groove, no doubt about it. Looks a little bit more relaxed in that tee box, and it shows. He's hitting the grid.
Bounces over past the 350 and will stop at 351 yards, so 353 is the best for Delroy McDonald.
And again, you know, a new competitor to the sport. He really got into his groove and relaxed, and 353 is not bad.
So now the 6th and final drive for Rick Benoit, trying to best that mark of 358.
And you can see that sun setting and the wind's changing just a little bit.
And a pretty good drive there. This one is looking good. That's going to be a good number as it stays in the grid and makes its way all the way past the 360, up by 370, and that will stop at 378 yards.
Not bad at all. You saw I got a bit of a bounce on the left side and checked up in that short grass a little bit, but all in all, not a bad drive.
And that will be the best hit between Benoit and McDonald, and even Team Jamaica loves it.
Yeah, you can see, you know, I get that shoulder around, a little too much movement in my right leg, and my feet are jumping around a bit, but other than that, not too bad.
Well, here's a look at the scoreboard, and it is a drive of 404 yards by Lumar Foray that tops Team International Quantum 2.
And again, you can see with Quantum 2's numbers, what hurt us is Liesl going 0 for 6. When you post a 0 and the other team posts 5 scores, you're going to lose.
Michael Rowe tops for Jamaica with 361 yards, and with that, the final round scores show that Team Jamaica comes out with a victory just under 100 yards over Team Quantum 2. Time now for the big hit of the day. And for that, we take you back to Lumar Foray's drive of 404 yards.
Great club head speed, great shoulder turn. He gets his hips out in front and his hands lag, and that's exactly what you want to do in a long drive swing.
Well, Jamaica wins on their hometown turf, but Lumar Foray has the big drive of the day at 404 yards.
Great event between these two teams. You know, Jamaica put on a great show for their hometown and home country. And unfortunately for South African International Quantum Team 2, again, you know, you had that one score that just went 0 for 6 and didn't count, and unfortunately it cost them the win.
And sometimes that just shows the pressure that the competitors really do face on the tee box.
That's right, John. And you know what? It's no easy feat out there hitting a long ball, let alone when you're in front of a bunch of peers who are hitting the ball 400 yards. It's a task and a half.
Well, if you think you're a long driver at home and want to try competing in an international event, you can, and all you have to do is go online.
That's right. Just go online to www.internationallongdrive.com, and you too could be a long baller. Just look for the local qualifier nearest you.
And maybe we'll see you competing for your country at one of our upcoming events. Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching, everyone. For Rick Benoit, I'm John Bartlett. We'll see you next time.
For further information on local qualifying events, log on to www.internationallongdrivechallenge.com.